This is a brief tutorial on how to use Quick Film Budget. Here's the homepage, www.quickfilmbudget.com. Up at the top right corner is Create Account. Creating an account is free. Once you do that, you can then log in and get started. But before we get started, let's quickly explore the site. The second most visited page is Film Glossary in the bottom right corner. When you click it, you can view the single most comprehensive list of film budget terms on the internet today. If you scroll down to insurance, you can see links to 2 different insurance firms who recommend our service. Truman Van Dyke is considered to be an industry leader in studio and large indie films, and Brilliant Insurance handles indies and digital series as well. We're also endorsed on Truman Van Dyke's website, and David Karubian, the principal at Brilliant Insurance, offers a testimonial on our homepage. So Quick Film Budget is not only faster than line producers and less expensive than budgeting software, its numbers are also reliable. So now let's get started. All you have to do is log in using your email and password. Now it's time to create your Quick Film Budget. These are the questions that help guide the matrix in creating your budget. The matrix was created using numbers from several hundred completed budgets, not proposed budgets, but completed budgets. The matrix consists of hundreds of thousands of calculus formulas. We start with total budget amount because we're filmmakers, and in all of our real-world experience, nobody's ever asked us, how much money would you like to make your movie? Whether we're talking to a producer, distributor, or financier, the conversation has always gone more like, can you make this script for $2 million? Or can you bring it in for $10 million? The real world of filmmaking always involves working backwards from a specific real price. We call this the top-down approach. We know film schools and others use bottom-up, which means they figure out all of the detail numbers first and then add them together to get a total number. But let's say you get the price of a truck rental per week and the price of craft service per week and start adding up all of the detailed numbers. The total is really unpredictable. Instead of an ideal budget, we encourage people to be practical producers. It doesn't matter what a truck should cost. You only have X for truck rental. So to bring the project in for the budget, you have to find a truck for X. You can find your total budget number by figuring out what type of film you're making. Let's say you're making a buddy comedy about friends who go to Vegas. It's all about creative vision. Is it the big budget Hangover or the smaller budget Swingers? Quick Film Budget can handle any size budget from micro budget films that cost $1,000 to studio tentpoles with budgets of hundreds of millions of dollars. A good way to figure out the budget is either to work backwards from what you've raised or to look up movies that you think are close to the one you want to make. You can look up budgets on websites such as imdbpro.com or boxofficemojo.com. Now let's just say for argument's sake that the budget we're creating is $10 million. You enter $10 million into total budget amount. Now let's pick the genre. You have 6 choices. A lot of this is intuitive. Let's say we're making a film for a few $1,000,000 and it's a horror film. Would we allocate a lot of money to the cast? Let's think back to the last good horror film I saw. In the poster for The Last Exorcism, did you recognize any actors' faces? Correct, the answer is no. But if I said we were making a drama for a few million, do we need to allocate more money to cast? Let's think back to low-budget dramas that have been released in theaters. Correct, the answer is yes. The poster for The Kids Are All Right was entirely made up of the cast faces of Annette Bening, Julianne Moore, and Mark Ruffalo. That's how the Matrix works, just like our intuition. So we have 6 choices for genre. Pick the one closest that identifies your film. Sometimes we get a question like, my film is a period piece, why isn't period an option? I always explain it by pointing at 2 different films that I love. Both are period, coming-of-age gangster films set in New York during the 1960s and 70s. They're Goodfellas and Bronx Tale. Goodfellas had a larger budget and really presented the scope of New York in that time. Bronx Tale, also brilliant, never really left that one stoop area on the one block of New York. So in the case of period films, it's once again about creative vision, which is why the Matrix doesn't use it. Now write in the title. As with all of the text fields, you can type directly into the box. I'll make this title Tutorial. Next, select Number of Producers. As with all of the drop-down boxes, by clicking on the blue arrows you get choices. By selecting 3 instead of 1, 2 more text fields will show up for producers' names. In this case, we'll have 2 producers, and we'll type Nolan and Adam. Now let's do the same for executive producer, writer, and director. In this case, we'll have no executive producers, one writer, and one director. I'll type Nolan in for these fields. Tutorial is going to be a real auteur piece. For cast, you can either type in the names of the actors you've attached to the project, or the names of the actors you want, or leave it as Principal Cast 1 and Principal Cast 2, and so on, or the most common approach is to type in the character names from the screenplay. You'll notice that in the case of all budgets under $5,150,000, you have to select 2 as the number of principal cast. That doesn't mean you can only afford to pay 2 actors. It means that you can only afford to carve out 2 actors to make more than the rest of the cast. Remember, even after you're done creating your budget, you can always change things in your modifiable budget. Number of locations means the number of sets, like interior bar or exterior alley. So let's say we have 30 locations in Tutorial. City of production is the city you're shooting in. We have American cities as well as international. In some cases, the city is carved out, like Illinois, Chicago, to show that Chicago is an IATSE production city, which means that their union rates are higher. If you shoot anywhere in Illinois, most likely you'll be pulling crew from Chicago. By selecting a city, you help QuickFilm Budget calculate all fringes and benefits for your crew using the current union rates. Next is budget date and production start date. By clicking on the text field, you can select the date from the calendar. Finally, let's just answer yes or no to whether there are picture vehicles in the film, animals in the film, child actors in the film, and whether we're shooting on film or digital. Once again, if you do not know the meaning of any of these words, you can always look up their definition in the film glossary on the homepage. Now click Generate Report. In most cases, you'll be directed to pay at this point. You can choose Google Checkout or PayPal. Each budget costs 1 token. Also, remember that you can buy 1 token or 5 tokens. The 5 token package incorporates a discount, so you're getting 5 tokens for the price of 4. In this case, I already have a token, so I'll just use it. It should only take QuickFilm Budget approximately 60 seconds to generate a budget, but it depends on your internet connection. Remember that the price includes the top sheet and complete budget, which are about to be generated as a PDF. And the price also includes the modifiable version, which we'll talk about in a little bit. QuickFilm Budget also handles the calculation of all current fringes and benefits for you. So the QuickFilm Budget's been created. I'll open it and see that it shows all of the details I submitted. It also suggests the number of weeks for pre-production, principal photography, and post-production, all based on the matrix recommendations. As you can see, the first page is the top sheet, and the rest of the document is the detailed budget, which has all the current fringes and benefits already calculated, as I mentioned before. Now, let's say I want to change a number or add something. All I have to do is go into my order history in my account. There's the film title, Tutorial, and click on the Modify button on the left. Then choose which format you'd like to receive the budget in. The options are Showbiz Budgeting, EP Movie Magic, Microsoft Excel, or iWork Numbers. Then you'll receive the modifiable version in the format you choose within 72 hours, usually less, depending on how many budgets we have to convert at that moment. I hope this helped. If you have any questions, please feel free to email us at info@quickfilmbudget.com. Good luck!